Prologue. The figure emerged beneath a spear of lightning, cloaked in black and wreathed in smoke. Rebekah sensed it stare from beyond her rain-stippled bedroom window, and a chill raced across her skin, leaving her flesh prickled with goosebumps. Another flash ignited the sky, and the phantom vanished. She pressed her face against the glass, both desperate and trepid for the entity to return, for some inkling of proof to confirm what she saw. But with each strike of lightning, the street below remained empty. Dazed, her hand extended beyond the open window as an offering to the storm. Water ran down the branch of her arm and trailed off in twisting spires at the end of her fingers. She must have imagined it. That was possible, right? And yet a morose sense rallied against her denial.
There was nothing there. You didn't see anything.
She hoped through sheer repetition of repressions the memory would wisp away. But despite her mind's attempts to placate her, the image remained. She had seen something. Her door crashed open, shattering the mirror of her vanity. Her father stood beyond the threshold, exhausted impatience riddling his face, absent any notice of the broken mirror. Instead, he looked beyond her, and she followed his gaze to water pooling along the baseboard. She turned back in fear as he snatched a towel from the hallway's linen closet. "Are you out of your damn mind?" He ripped her from her perch and slammed the window shut. "It's pouring outside. There's water running everywhere, down the wall, all over your floor." He bunched the towel along the baseboard to soak up the liquid. "I thought you'd know better than to open the window when it's pouring rain."
Sorry, Dad.
Yeah, you didn't think. Why am I not surprised? He took a composing breath. "Your mother has dinner ready, so make yourself presentable." He left Rebekah sprawled on the floor and stormed from the room, though he hesitated at the scattered pieces of glass. "And clean up this fucking mess." Gleaming tears filled her eyes, and she glanced back toward the window at the water racing down in rivulets. She'd always found a comforting symmetry in storms. Often they inspired freedom, much like the freedom she imagined Andy Dufresne felt in the rain beyond the walls of Shawshank. But the rain that night brought sorrow. She exhaled a tremulous breath. Despite the years of blind callousness, she still found herself tirelessly vying for her father's approval, without success. The relentless naivety of a child's longing for love and affection, though the novelty wore thin. Steeling herself, she made her way to the glass mosaic that decorated her floor. Brushing pieces into a pile, she caught a jagged shard of glass with the heel of her hand. The cut stung sharply. Rebekah examined her injury, watching the blood begin to pool beneath her skin in a crimson patch, little beads cresting on the surface. The pain quickly subsided as the glinting rubies clotted the wound, leaving nothing more than a fading memory. She caught her reflection in the broken fragments and recoiled. Grief had aged her. At only 14, she looked miserable. Bags sank beneath her eyes, accentuated by heavy dark circles. Seeing her face, and not recognizing the soul behind it, was deeply disquieting. A foreign voice found its way into her mind. "It's your fault," it hissed at her. "She's dead because of you." Rebekah rocked back on her knees, exhaling deeply. Closing her eyes, she clenched her fists as labored breaths fought their way through the pressure in her chest. She struggled to reclaim herself, battling the monster that crept its way into her head, whispering evils to her. The vanity drew her gaze. Blades of glass decorated the edges of the frame where the mirror used to be, and a single photo remained, torn nearly in two, while the side of it still anchored to the frame was resolute. The other half dangled threateningly by a sliver. She plucked her favorite picture of her and her sister from the mirror. Her sister had been dead for years, but some part of her still denied it, holding on to the possibility she might still be alive. She had gone missing 4 years ago at the beach her family used to visit every summer, but they never found her body. So, there was hope, right? She folded onto the floor, white knuckles gripping her knees. The torn photo hung from her trembling hand as she cried, but in the corner of her room, the miserable figure watched her, choking out the light and darkening the atmosphere. Its voice echoed in her mind. Beside her sat the jagged shard that cut her, still coated in a faint trace of blood. She reached for it and positioned it so she could see her face once more. Beneath tendrils of wild, curly black hair, she found her eyes, rimmed in red and lifeless. No shine of happiness. Even the crescent-shaped silver mark on her iris, prized as a unique characteristic, brought an unwelcome feeling. "Rebekah!" Her father summoned her from the kitchen, his tone blanketed with irritation. The voice in her head whispered to her, commanded her, and a strange sensation took control. With a trembling hand, she tightened her grip on the glass, making the sharp edges dig into her palm. She placed the fragment against her wrist and slowly worked the rough edge deep through her flesh. Blood ran from the wound like a crimson drape, cascading with the same ferocity as the rain streaking down the window. The voice laughed. "I see you, Guardian," it hissed. Her hands fell to her sides, and the remnant of glass skipped across the hardwood floor victoriously. The fog of turmoil in her mind dissipated as the sinister voice shrank into the distance, becoming muted beyond Rebekah's waning consciousness.